Olá maltinha, daqui Marco Dighetti, para vocês bem-vindos a mais um episódio de Final Fantasy XVI que jogam, manos. Tivemos aí a visitar a campa do Cid e vamos agora então fazer aqui umas side quests que estão para fazer no Esconderijo. Vamos até lá. A nossa missão principal apareceu ali para os lados de Dalméquia do Leste, salvo erro. E vamos fazer essas side quests. Temos aqui uma, aqui com um sinalzinho de mais, e temos aqui também, manos, isto é a mesa de leitura, deve ser umas missõezitas extras. Eu vou fazer isso em off, se aparecer alguma coisa de jeito, ponho aqui no vídeo, maltinha, vocês já sabem como é, algo que seja assim relevante para a história principal do jogo ou assim. Se for aquelas missõezitas tipo, só para encher, pessoal, estão a ver, eu não vou colocar, mas podemos ir ver juntos. Vamos ver juntos o que é que diz aí então na mesa de leitura do Clive, aqui. Epá, temos 3 coisas para fazer. Sobre o Blackthorn, obrigado por me ajudar a animar o Blackthorn naquele dia, mas acho que ele está daquele jeito de novo, a julgar pela cara dele ultimamente. Estou achando que talvez o problema não era só o couro. Será que tem outros demónios rodeando a cabeça dele? Sei que você é um homem ocupado, mas da próxima vez que estiver livre, talvez possa ir perguntar ao velho qual é o problema, se realmente não for só a forja. Ok, temos esta aqui do August, aceitar o pedido, sim, atender ao pedido do August.
Hopefully it's nothing, but I should speak to Blackthorn just in case.
Ok, missão aceita. Casa de Ferreiro 2. Vamos ver quais são as outras duas. Um mau pressentimento. Clive, tem algo errado com o seu cão. Quando Vossa Senhoria puder, venha-me visitar na tenda. Ui. O que se passa com o Torgal?
What could be wrong with Torgal? You seemed well enough when I last saw him.
Algum problema com o Torgalzinho? Essa vai ser prioritizada, mano. Vai ser prioridade essa missão. Confidencial. Eu estava folheando os livros caixa do Esconderijo a pedido do Otto e posso ter encontrado algo que talvez chame a sua atenção. Talvez, ou seja, venha imediatamente. Você sabe onde vão estar. Gaute. Aceitar o chamado Gaute.
Trouble with the ledgers. Shouldn't he be asking Otto for help?
Ok, vamos fazer isso, maninhos, em off, para não estar a perder muito tempo com enchimento, não é? Isto é apenas para encher o jogo. São 3 missões. Ainda é capaz de demorar um tempinho. E temos aqui uma com o mais, é do coisa, do Blackthorn. Bem, vamos lá fazer isto.
Blackthorn.
Vamos perguntar aqui à Karen que tem o nosso Torgalzinho.
I got your note. You think something's wrong with Torgal?
So you can read. Congratulations.
Que engraçadinha.
I didn't say I were wrong with him. I said something weren't right. He's not been eating my treats. He used to love cracking the bones from Molly's boiled brown, but now he won't so much as look at them. Didn't like him, which is why I'm of a mind that his mind's on something else.
Esses teus olhos são bué estranhos, cara.
No harder than usual. Is that it, boy? Do you need a rest?
Todinho.
What was it you said he was? A frost wolf?
That's what the lawsman seems to think.
Then maybe this all has something to do with whatever it is that's woken inside him.
I suppose things have been different since Rosalith. Perhaps Hippocrates knows something.
Instead of everything, you mean?
Vamos já falar com o Apócritos, ver o que é que se passa aí com o nosso Torgalzinho, mano. Vou já ter com ele. E aí as missões do Esconderijo, os problemas do Esconderijo, pessoal. Isto é para a gente se interligar mais, no fundo, com o pessoal daqui.
I need to ask you about Torgal. Something's not right with him.
Mesmo.
He isn't ill, is he? I don't think so. But according to Lady Karen, he seems to have lost his appetite, which is certainly a new development. She says he's hardly been touching his bones of late, and she believes it may have something to do with what happened at Rosalith Castle.
Desde que ele se transformou.
I think she might be right, though not about his appetite. All canids are instinctively inclined to crack open bones for the rich marrow that resides within. and I see no reason why a frost wolf should be any different. Accordingly, I suspect it is not a lack of appetite that afflicts Torgal, but a surfeit of it. If we assume that his newfound magics require additional nourishment to sustain, it may well be that the bones Lady Karen is accustomed to providing
Faz
are no
sentido,
longer
mano. Ele
sufficient.
usando mais poder
Frost
precisa de
wolves,
mais
after all,
energia.
habitually prey upon far larger animals, whose bones may yield altogether different nutrients. As to where one might find a suitable substitute, some antelopes that graze the meadows of eastern Rosaria have been known to grow to a size more than double that of their lesser cousins.
I don't recall ever seeing any that large.
And little wonder. The oldest and largest such creatures rarely leave the safety of the highlands for fear of predators. The last elder antelope sighting I recall hearing about took place near Cressida, and that was long before the village was abandoned.
Even so, it seems like a good place to start.
Vamos lá.
Good hunting, Clive.
Vamos já caçar aí. Como é? Os antílopes anciões. Em Cressida. Vamos só falar com o Gotti agora também para ver o que é que ele quer. Se passa, Gotti.
Clive, did you get my letter?
Recebi,
That's why I'm
menino.
here.
Shh.
Oh, o que é que
Otto
foi?
won't be listening.
Is this better?
A little. Listen, I've some bad news. It turns out the hideaway may be slightly behind in its payment to certain lenders, and it's maybe my fault. But I swear to the
Maybe.
goddess, I thought I had the numbers square. Sadly, that square turned out to be more of a circle. 0, you might say. I can straighten it out, I swear, but it's gonna take some time, and I'm gonna need help keeping it from Otto.
Bit late for that, I'd say.
Oh
There
shit.
you are! What a surprise!
So let me get this straight. You forget to pay our lenders what they're due, and instead of coming straight to me, you get Clive to come to you. You know, he'll dig you out of the hole you've dug for yourself. Clive, the man in charge of the place you've been cheerfully trying to bankrupt. And you thought this was a cunning plan. Why? Well, who needs paying?
Oh, just Martha. And the dame. And, well, Lady Karen. But only 500 talents.
We owe 3 of our most trusted friends 5 million.
5 milhões de guilds
5 million each.
a cada?
They lent us the bulk of the money we used to rebuild the hideaway, you see, and, well, I must have made some
15 milhões de guild que devemos às 3.
oversight.
Those ledgers were
Com
my
caraças.
responsibility, and it was my decision to entrust them to you. This is my fault.
Do we have that much to hand? I can always ask my uncle.
No, we don't. And no, you won't. We've lightened Lord Rosfield's purse enough.
Mesmo, ele deu
For the
2
king's
mil
ransom we had offered,
talentos de
he
ouro.
deserves better than to see our begging bowl. Besides, we'll need to learn to stand on our own if we're going to make this work.
All right.
Mesmo, mesmo.
But that doesn't mean you have to shoulder the burden yourself. Is there anything I can do to help?
There might be. How'd you fancy taking these to Martha and the dame?
Rocks.
Rocks, he says. Worth 1,000 talents apiece, these
Com
are.
caraças, mano.
Something Sid and I set aside for when times got lean.
Então vale.
And I reckon 15 million in overdue debt probably
Caraças.
qualifies. I just hope our associates' eyes are a bit more discerning than yours.
1000 milhões.
I'm sure there will be.
Should be me making the rounds, really. But you know how it is with this place. Orders to bark, arses to wipe and all that.
I know. Which is why I don't mind going in your place.
Go. Do you know why I only gave Master Clive here 2 star rubies?
Because you'd rather Lady Karen killed me.
Because I'd rather Lady Karen killed you. Yes.
Tá certo.
Well, I suppose this is goodbye then.
Don't worry. I'm sure Karen will understand.
Really? Do you think so?
No, I don't.
Ok, vamos lá fazer o que temos a fazer. Caçar antílopes e entregar estes rubis estelares.
It told me she was building a ship.
Vamos falar com a Karen. Vamos falar com a Karen. Ok, a Karen estava aqui a falar sobre a missão do Blackthorn, que é procurarmos uma espada com uma lâmina super afiada. E teve-nos a dizer onde encontrar, então. E aí o pessoal, malucos, não podemos ir para lado nenhum. Está tudo bloqueado, vamos então para aqui. Para desbloquear, talvez, será isso? Vamos ter história. Mano, esses visuais, mano. Textura. O jogo está lindíssimo. Este jogo está lindíssimo. Adiante. Olha para esta bosta, mano. Olha para isto. A iluminação.
How are you feeling?
Better. Thanks to Taya.
I'm glad to hear it.
And Torgal helped too. Didn't you, boy?
Como é que o Torgal te ajudou? Bem, vamos ver se já dá para ir às missões. Boa! Vamos lá então. Nem sei por onde começar. Torgal. Ossos do ofício. Número 2. Onde é que está? Número 2 está aqui. Está a 2 e a 3. Que giro. Vamos já ao Torgalzinho, manos. O Torgal é o mais importante que está aqui. Destas sidequests todas. Eu posso já entregar e também o rubi aqui à Marta, não é? O rubi estelar. Vamos saldar a dívida com a Marta. Fica já arrumado.
Clive.
Martinho, tenho aqui uma coisa que vale 1000 milhões de gil. Para te pagar uma dívida de 500 mil. 500 milhões.
Considerable amount of coin for your help with our rebuilding efforts. And though I doubt it's what you were expecting, we were hoping you'd take this as payment.
Dá-lhe. Caraças, podia ler o que é que dizia ali.
A star, Ruby? I can't accept this. It's worth at least twice what you owe me. More if you can find yourself the right
Com
buyer.
caraças, mano.
Think of the difference as interest.
Interest? If word got out I charged that much, no one would ever borrow from me again. Anyway, why are you the one here asking me about this? I'd have expected Otto. Bit much sending the Lord Marquis out to settle your debts, isn't it? The old goat working himself to death again?
Something like that. Most days I think he's the only reason the hideaway's still standing.
Same as always, eh? Back when the place was nothing but a twinkle in the eye of a recently retired Lord Commander, word is he was the first one Sid reached out to. Probably
foi o
knew
primeiro
that without
companheiro
his
de Sid
strong
foi o
arm
Otto.
and level head, the idea would never get off the ground. Sid may have been the face of the hideaway, but Otto's always been the backbone. And when Sid passed away, we were all worried that would be the end of it. That Otto would just give up.
His death was hard on everyone. But it must have hit Otto hardest of all.
But he didn't give up, did he? Quite the opposite, in fact. If I recall, he was the one who nominated you as Sid's replacement, and rallied the rest around you. I reckon what
Foi o
he
outro que
saw in
escolheu este
Sid,
para o
he
novo
saw in you
Clive.
too. And don't we all? Doesn't hurt that you're half as stubborn and twice as handsome, neither. That, and you keep good company.
I suppose I do.
Tu queres, Marta? Beijinho. Então vamos lá despachar esses antílopes.
Well, is certainly quiet. If I were a giant antelope, it would seem like just the place.
Serão estes? Não são muito gigantes.
Yeah, we'll find one bigger than that. You hungry, Torgal? It's over.
Feito, foi fácil. Vais dar esses ossinhos ao Torgal.
Now. Will it be enough, I wonder?
Caraças. Consola-te aí, Torgal.
I say that answers my question. Which means we owe the lawsman our thanks. You're just a big puppy, aren't you? A very big puppy.
Filhotão. Puppy.
You do know you can take that with you, Torgal. Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back. Come on, boy.
Lindo menino, Torgal. Anda cá. Lindo menino. Good boy. Vamos lá. Pagar à dama.
What am I going to do without sweet water and oil of talc?
Milady, I come bearing gifts.
Gifts? Whatever is the occasion.
Deixa lá ler. Uma das 3 pedras preciosas adquiridas por Cid e guardadas para tempos difíceis. Otto acredita que o momento chegou e planeja usar os rubis para quitar 3 dívidas descomunais. Uma com a senhora Karen, uma com a Marta do repouso da Marta e uma com a Isabel do Bel. Caraças, mano. Aquele gote deu cabo do negócio.
Clive, you really have outdone yourself.
Otto asked me to give it to you. To settle the hideaway's debt with the veil. And to compensate you for the time it took us to do so.
You disappoint me, Clive. I thought you might finally be warming to me. Tell Otto he can keep his baubles. I tried to tell him as much the first time around. The man owes me nothing, nor does the hideaway. My contribution to the restoration effort was made freely and willingly. It was the least I could do.
You once told me Cid did you a kindness. I'd like to do the same. Please, accept it. For my sake. And for Otto's. For all of us. For all you've done.
Todas umas fecholas aí, essas miúdas.
It is rather fetching, isn't it? Very well. Otto is lucky to have you, Clive. I doubt anything could ever replace his son. But you and the others at the hideaway are the closest thing he has to family.
Otto had a son.
Long ago, yes. Cid told me Otto lost him when he was just a boy. And blamed himself for not being able to stop it. I don't know how it happened. Whether there was anything he could have done. But it was clear that it weighed heavily on him.
Coitado.
I didn't know.
How could you have? I doubt anyone did. Besides Cid, I've never met a man more keen to bear his sorrows in stoic silence. An ill habit, given that both have always been surrounded by friends desperate to help them.
I'm beginning to see that.
Coitado do Otto,
We will
mano.
want to know the stones were delivered. If he's still with us.
Tanto sítio para ir, para visitar, mano.
Good. Still alive, I see.
Tchau.
So Lady Karen accepted the ruby.
About that, I tried my best, but she was just too stubborn to take it. She threw it right back in my face, in fact, and told me I could stick my stupid stone where the sun don't shine.
Karen refused payment.
I hope it wasn't something I said.
I'm sure you're as tactful as ever. Let me see what I can do.
Claro, tem que sobrar para o Clive.
Wonderful. I hope you have better luck than I did.
Vamos lá, temos que falar com a Karen. Também do Torgal, não é? Sobre o Torgal. Está ali ossos do ofício. Falo com a Karen e levo o último rubi estelar para a Karen. Está com grande interveniência nos últimos minutos essa Karen.
Lady Karen, Goad tells me you weren't happy with our offer. Would you prefer the debt was repaid in coin?
What debt? I don't recall lending any of you lot me hard-earned gil. I may have tossed a talent or two in the Hideaway's coffers, but those were donations, and you can hardly call it charity if you go asking for it back.
Of course not. But one good turn deserves another. And our circumstances have changed. Surely you wouldn't shun the gratitude of a pauper who happened to have become a prince.
Oh, so you're a prince now, are you? Fine. But I'm selling it and taking what I'm owed, then you're getting the rest whether you like it or not.
Grande fecholas aí as mulheres, mano. Muito boa onda elas.
Where'd you even get this? A decent trader might nab 1,000 talents for a star ruby. A canny one, meanwhile, might claim it were nicked from the belt of Sid the Outlaw himself and ask twice as much. Might be I already have a buyer in mind. Might be you even know her. A fine continental maid whose beauty's only eclipsed by a guile in commerce. You wouldn't mind, would you?
Not at all. Just be sure to tell her that it's always a pleasure doing business.
E agora vamos falar sobre o Torgal? Ou ainda não? Ainda não.
I hear you ended up delivering all 3 stones. Thanks to this lump. I sometimes wonder what I pay you for.
Speaking of which, I still haven't been paid last month's wages.
Oh!
Ainda tenho a lata de
Remember what's
pedir.
owed to you then? Get your ass behind that disc of yours and don't get up before those square.
Right away.
I've seen that before.
You have, yeah. Plenty of times. It was the only goblet Sid ever used. Either out of habit, or because the filthy soul couldn't be bothered to find a clean one.
I knew so little about him.
Like most people.
Martha and the Dame both seem to have fond memories of him.
I bet they do.
How long did you know Sid before he...
Before he died. 20 summers, give or take. Back in the day, I was a purser on a trade ship, which is where I met him. He bought passage to... I forget where. And having nothing better to do on the long nights, we set up drinking island rum till the morning bell dragged me back to my duties. Quit my post not long after that. On account of making a fine maiden's belly fat. But me and Sid stayed close, promising we'd one day sail the seas again. That was before fate stepped in and said she was having none of it. The magic woke inside my son soon after his first name day. There was no hiding his knack.
Couldn't you and your family have...
My family were the ones who summoned the constable.
Cover
With the
on
monster taken away. I couldn't turn my back on him. Forget what I felt, and I couldn't for the life of me understand how they could. Luckily, Sid was of the same mind as me. It was him who stood beside me when all I wanted was to tear the whole world down. Him who cried for me when I had no tears left of my own. Him who swore he'd do everything he could to stop it from happening again. And he was true to his word too. Left the Royal Army once and for all. His ranks, his ribbons, gone. Just like that. Threw away everything he had. All to right a wrong that no one else had the courage to face. I knew then I'd follow that man to the ends of the earth.
Grande gajo, Cid, mano. Grande gajo. Flashback.
He was
Está ele,
always
o homem.
too clever for his own good, was Sid. Saw the world for what it really was, while the rest of us were content to go along with the lie we were shown. And it can't have been easy, bearing that burden alone. But he didn't let it stop him.
Aquele lá atrás é o Blackthorn.
Faith in what he believed was right. And
É
that
capaz,
gave us
sério.
faith in him. Faith he'd steer us true. So I swore to myself that I'd always be right behind him, ready to catch the stubborn sod, if ever he should fall. But I couldn't even do that. Ignore me, just the ramblings of a tired old man. Leave that lot. I'll tidy it up in a bit.
A missão está fixe, mano. Estamos a saber mais sobre o Otto e o Cid.
This is Sid's handwriting. Dear Otto.
I may be drunk, but I wanted you to know this place would be fucked without you. Love you, you grumpy old sod.
This note.
What about it?
Sid was right. Without you, we'd all be lost.
He should have bloody well said so then. Just once. Before he went. But then, why would he? Him, or anyone? I'd only have told him to piss off. You're wrong, though. Both of you. It was never just me keeping the hideaway afloat. It was all of us. I just shoved people in the right direction. I barely seem to be able to do that anymore.
Would you rather go where at the helm?
Well, maybe I've got a few more years left in me.
I'm going to hold you to that, Otto.
Before you go, Sid would have wanted you to have this.
But that's...
This'll do me just fine. Thanks for the ray of sunshine. I'll see if I can't pay you back.
Already have.
Fixe. Um bocadinho fixe da história, mano. Estas sides quest é para estas cenas, mano. É para a gente se interligar mais com os personagens secundários, vá. Bem, vamos ter com a Karen, falar sobre o Torgal, não é? Ainda temos a missão do Blackthorn para fazer, a tal espada que ele quer. Vamos lá.
I noticed you and Torgal had gone off somewhere. Take him for a walk, did you?
You could say that.
Ok, explica-lhe a história toda.
So, Molly's leftovers weren't good enough, eh? That'll teach me for treating you like you're still a pup.
A pup?
All right, no need to shout. Now we know what you're after, I can see about getting some in.
Speaking of which, I brought one for later. Can I leave it with you?
Dá-lhe.
You can, aye. I'm nice like that. In return, you can thank Temos for me. The bloody know-it-all.
I was just on my way to see him.
Vamos ter que falar com o Foley. Falo com o Apócrates. Arpócrates. Eles do ofício. Deve ser para terminar a missão agora. E temos aí umas caçadas para fazer, manos. Se calhar vou fazer já essas caçadas.
Were you able to locate your quarry?
We were indeed, Lawsman. You pointed us in exactly the right direction. And Torgal's been a very happy hound ever since.
Happy
Very
hounds.
good, very good.
Lady Karen sends her thanks, by the way, for your part in solving the mystery.
Ah. But that reminds me. After your last visit, I found myself pondering Torgal's talents. Do you recall our conversation concerning Lady Jill's role in Torgal's transformation?
About how she somehow woke the power within him.
Precisely that. A reasonable conclusion, I thought, but one which raised certain questions in my mind. You see, the Fenrir of legend served Shiva and Shiva alone, and while the powers attributed to him are certainly impressive, the records imply they are somewhat different in nature to those you described Torgal as having used.
Realmente, mano, ele não usa o gelo.
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more than one icon's power. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill, he has served as a loyal companion to you, your brother, and even the late Cid. In short, the icons hitherto near at hand, or should I say at paw,
Mesmo.
have been diverse and plenty. And that number has
Ele
only
usa os
grown
choques, mano,
as
não
the
foi?
realm's dominance have fallen to your
Que é o
soul.
ícone do Cid.
One
O
can but
ramo.
speculate as to how all of this has affected Torgal.
He
Caraças,
has
mano.
seemed more fierce of late.
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer still. We are fortunate indeed to be able to count him amongst our allies and not our adversaries.
Mesmo.
Oh, he's more than an ally. He's a friend.
O nosso Torgalzinho, mano. Ok, estou contente de termos feito a missãozita para ele. Vamos a Dalméquia. Casa de Ferreira. Encontre Ignac em Dalimil. Vamos avançar, se calhar. Vamos ver se acontece alguma coisa de especial aqui também. Ainda temos ali um plus ali. Side Quest Plus. No Esconderijo, manos. Ok, maninhos. Viemos ter com um tipo qualquer que supostamente é o proprietário da espada, mas pelos vistos ela foi roubada com uma série de material que o gajo tinha. E os bandidos, há uma pista em que os bandidos estão aqui. Vamos dar cabo destes bandidos para depois o tipo nos receber. Ele tratou bué da mal o Clive. Não queria conversa com ele e tal e coisa. E eu, colega. Feitinho. Inimigos derrotados. Vamos ter com lá com o man.
This must be Ignac's luggage. Nothing seems to be damaged. All right. Let's get it back to Dalamel.
Ok, maninhos, missão concluída. Nada de muito especial. Oferecemos uma pedra de afiar as lâminas aqui ao Blackthorn e temos um projeto de Excalibur. Ok. Deve ser das melhores espadas aqui do jogo, talvez. Basicamente foi isso. Recuperámos o material, demos ao man, ele ficou todo contente, deu-nos a espada e deu-nos uma pedra de amolar para o Blackthorn afiar as espadas. Ok, vamos então ver. Cá aqui mais alguma cena. É aqui na masmorra de Mid. Será alguma missão para a Mid? Mano, essa chavala só dá que fazer, mano. Eu estou cheio da Mid, sinceramente. Vamos lá ver se é para ela. Ela tinha-se pirado. Será que já voltou? Ok, não é para a Mid.
Here, Sid. Reckon you might be just the man to help me out of a bit of bother, if you've a mind to.
O que é que tu queres?
Let's hear it.
Well, it's about this alembic the chief's got me making.
Com
Lovely
caras.
bit of kit it is. Bunging a solution you want splitting, and it will separate it out, just like that. Problem is, it won't always get rid of all the impurities. And with some of the stuff we need it for, that ain't good enough. Which is why I've been looking for something to filter the liquid we'll be cooking off. And that's where I was hoping you could help me out.
Porque não, né? Clive ajuda toda a
Use
gente.
of this alembic too. Distilling medicines and the like. All right. Why not?
Proper job!
So what exactly do you need for this filter?
Nothing but bomb ash'll do, says the chief. Gave me a sample she'd obtained from the university stores. Couldn't believe my eyes. You pour the blackest blight water through it, and it comes out clear as a mountain stream. So,
Olha.
I did a bit of reading about where I might be able to get hold of some. And do you know what I found out? It's only the blimmin' bones of a bomb king. They leave them behind when they die, see?
I take it that's where I come in.
Bomb King, as bombas.
If you wouldn't mind. I saw a billet on the hunt board for one just the other day. Would have gone myself, but, well, fighting dirty great balls of flame isn't exactly my
Ok, então isto é uma
forte.
caçada no fundo, não é?
You, on the other hand,
All right. I'll see what I can do.
thank you kindly. And a good hunting, eh?
Ok, vamos lá fazer isso. Como tudo o que fazemos, não é? Neste jogo, fazemos tudo. Agora pergunto sobre os relatos de bombas ao Nectar. Quer caçar um bomba Rex Cupa ou se quiser tem um anúncio que pode ser do seu interesse. E é este aqui. Local Amoringa, Sambré, com uma rompe maldição a caminho da perseguição imperial. Tomou o caminho errado e foi parar em uma floresta próxima, onde encontrou as ruínas de uma aeronave dos decaídos. Dentro, uma fera que aparentava ser uma grande bola de fogo a perseguiu e a fez sair correndo gritando. A soldada posteriormente identificou a criatura em um almanaque dos ecos, mas insistiu que a bomba que ela viu tinha 10 vezes o tamanho da que estava retratada. A Moringa Sambrek. Vamos lá para a Moringa Sambrek. A Moringa Sambrek. Sambrek. Pois. Pois. Epá, vamos ser aqui as colinas de Orabel e procurar no mapa onde fica essa zona. Pois é, maninhos, perdi a paciência ontem de estar à procura do Bomba, do Rei Bomba, Bomba Rex. Para mim já é outro dia, mas continuei a gravação de ontem, está no mesmo episódio, vamos fazer essa caçada neste mesmo episódio. E malucos, eu aqui em Sambrek havia uma parte, aqui perto do Ninho do Dragão, estão a ver? Eu saí aqui no ninho do dragão e abri aqui uma zona que estava... Esta parte aqui estava ainda por descobrir, malucos. E eu entrei agora por aqui e olha só o que apareceu aqui. A moringa, mano. A moringa. Está aqui o cabeças. A moringa. Vamos lá, a moringa. Fónix, mano. Percorri isso tudo para procurar esse bombarrex da treta, mano. Vai saber também dar-lhe no focinho só pelo trabalho que ele me deu a procurá-lo. E vamos fazer essa caçada, não é? E terminar o episódio. Ora bem, deve haver ali outra cena qualquer. Deduzo eu. Vamos ver, se calhar aqui é a zona para outra lutaça. Parece. Temos aqui só 2 couros ensanguentados, uma caixinha para abrir. Sangue preto. Ok, vamos lá ter com o Bomba Rex. Acabar com essa side quest da ciência bizarra. E ficar por aqui com este episódiozinho, que foi um episódio de sides quest, né? Também não pode ser só história sempre a guiar, não é? Temos que explorar um bocadinho. Mostrar aqui coisas que vocês possam não ver no vosso gameplay. Pois isto é a tal nave, não é? O tal resquício de nave dos decaídos. Vamos lá. Bomba Rex cabrão. Ontem tive pai 3 horas à procura deste gajo e nada, moço. Quase que ia, moço. Tive que meter uma super poção que já estava a perder. Lá está, manos. Perdi muito tempo. Pensei que já tinha explorado o Sunbreak todo e afinal tinha ali aquele cantinho. Brasa de bomba. Eu tentei cortar o cabelo.
Now to collect the ash. I should probably have brought a bucket.
Deixa de tretas, Clive. Vamos mas é levar isso ao man.
This looks like the stuff. Let's see if there's any more.
É, mete no bolso das calças.
That should do it. If a wine needs more than this, he can fetch it himself.
Estás a dizer isso, tu, chavalo? Estás a dizer isso agora? Agora é que dizes isso, mano. Já devias ter dito isso milhões de vezes, sempre que te pediram coisas. Queres? Vai tu buscá-las. E temos aqui uma também. Vamos acabar essa aqui no esconderijo, então. Mano, vamos só ver aqui o quadro das caçadas, que eu já fiz mais uma ou duas. À procura deste badalhoco. Eu já fiz mais um ou dois. Exato, acho que foram. Fiz estas vespas aqui. Fiz este. Este já tínhamos gravado. Agora faltam estes dois: Colina da Morte e o Rompedor de Mundos. Ok. Vai levar isto lá ao gajo.
Alright there, Sid? How's that hunt for the bomb ash going?
I have it here.
Tens que fazê-lo.
That's the stuff. And plenty of it too. Enough to keep the Olympic bubbling away for a good old while. You're a gent, Sid. Let nothing say otherwise.
Muito obrigadinho.
Right then. Let's get this contraption up and running.
Algum tempo depois.
We have it. I'm on my limbic, and it works just like the chief said it would.
Very impressive.
Says the man who cut down a burning boulder. Speaking of which, I still haven't returned the favor.
There's no need. The good it will do for the hideaway is reward enough.
Don't be silly.
Don't be
Take a look at that
silly.
bag of yours. The one you keep your potions in. Reckon I could work some magic on that.
What kind of magic?
It's a kind of magic.
We happen to have isolated a substance in our test run of the alembic that I reckon will make even the toughest lever supple as anything. Thought we might use it to breathe new life into old boots and the like. Save the hideaway a few gil. But I reckon if we slap a bit on your bag, it'll loosen it up enough for you to squeeze in a bottle or two more.
Ok.
It can't hurt to try, I suppose.
That's the spirit. Leave it with me. I'll only be a mo.
Ok, ganhamos capacidade para mais uma porçãozita. Pronto, isto são sidequests que já dão algum tipo de recompensa diferente. Tudo bem, já se fossem todas assim, puxava mais a fazer, mano.
Flexible.
Right? Told you.
Por isso é que tenho mais. Algumas sites têm um maisinho que oferecem algo mais
Thank you for
do que as
supporting me and the
sidequests
rest of
normais.
us in our endeavors. Without you, we'd never have been able to discover wonders like that stuff I rubbed on your bag. And I'm telling you, there's plenty more where that came from.
O que é que tu passaste no saco, mano? Este jogo. Inventário aumentado. É loucura. Ok, maninhos. Vamos ficar por aqui com este episódio. Ok, subimos 2 poções. Já podemos ter 6 em vez de 4. Deixa só ver se conseguimos chegar a esta missão aqui verde. Esta side quest. A ver o que pedem. Nem sei onde é que fica a porra da missão. Ih, com caraças. Vamos ver só para aqui é. E sou capaz de a fazer em off até, malucos. E vamos seguir, mas é com a história desse jogo. Estou curioso em saber o que é que vai acontecer a seguir. Mas...
Till the Republic laid a new road wide enough to let wagons pass, and all official traffic moved there.
Leaving this one for those living outside.
Indeed. I doubt we'll be the only outlaws on the trail today.
Bonita água. Tem bichinhos aqui.
This one. Over here.
Estão eles.
So what do you think?
That we'd be lucky to make it out alive.
O que estes querem?
Really? It's as bad as that? Oh, aye. There's trouble up ahead. And too much of it for us to handle.
I take it there's danger on the road.
Oh, what about this fearsome-looking fellow? You think he'd be equal to the task?
Well, no doubt. Assuming he's willing to hear us out. Well met, friend. My brother and I have been tasked with finding a merchant's missing cart. You seen it by any chance?
How does a merchant misplace his cart?
Oh, the man's a coward. When he thought goblins might come a-snarling, he ran, leaving his livelihood abandoned in the pass.
He sent the two of us to fetch it, but it's gone. Now, I'm not much of a thinker, but I know the work of thieves when I see it.
My brother's right on all accounts. And by my estimation...
Pronto, vamos ter que matar uns ladrões e coisa e tal, siga.
You, however, have the look of a man who needn't fear a band of backwater ruffians. What do you say? Will you help us out? Chances are they'll come for you either way. But if you promise to lend us a hand, at least you'll pocket a reward for your troubles.
Ele não sabe dizer que não.
Well, if I'm going to have to deal with them anyway.
You've clearly got a fine head on those broad shoulders.
Clive não consegue dizer
Lucky
que
you
não.
came along. Now, hoping to make a heavy purse in Bocklad, our merchant friend loaded his cart with as much as it would carry. Reckon he won't be forking over the rest of our fee if we don't find those goods. So, while you're seeing to those bandits, you keep your eyes open.
All right. Just don't expect me to drag the cart out of there myself.
No. You can leave the cart to us. You just put an end to those bandits and point us in the right direction. You do that, we'll take care of the rest.
Cá para mim vocês é que querem ficar, mas é com a mercadoria. Não é para entregar a mercador nenhum. E querem que eu é que faça o trabalho sujo. Oh, estes gajos são mercenários, mano. Estes manos.
I'm not sure I trust those two. But if there are bandits lying in wait, I should probably take care of them.
Pois.
Look lively, you lot.
Yes. These must be our bandits.
And if you ever want to see it again. You lose.
Feitinho.
That's them dealt with. Now, where's that cart?
Ok. Tá aqui a carroça.
Getting all of this out of here will be a nightmare.
Seems we've found ourselves the right man for the job, wouldn't you say?
Found the cart and didn't leave a single bastard breathing. Our merchant friend will be delighted.
And how exactly will he be getting his goods out of here?
You leave that to us. After all, it'd be wrong to make such a fine warrior haul cabbages to market.
You've done your part. And that's all you need to worry about. Here. It's been a pleasure. Now piss off.
Piss off.
There's no need to be so rude, brother. What if we want his help again next time?
Eles querem ficar com isto para eles, mano. Certeza. Bem, whatever. Bem, maninhos, obrigado por assistirem a mais um episódio que foi de side quests e caçadas e explorar aqui o mapa e ajudar a mid e mais não sei o que e blá blá blá. E no próximo vamos seguir com a historinha, que é o que interessa. Por isso, até o próximo vídeo, maltinha. Obrigado mais uma vez por estares desse lado, pelo teu apoio, pelo teu carinho e suporte. Beijo para as meninas, um grande abraço para os boys e daqui Mark Digetti out. Fui maltinha, sayonara. Uau!